this is Venus, and this is Luna. See, I wanted a Cotylorhynchus, but they've been dead for over 200 million years. But what if they weren't? Well, stay tuned, because we're gonna see just how hard, or easy, owning one would be. So, I've come to the executive decision that we are gonna continue onwards with no bearded dragons. As usual, we're splitting this up into 3 categories: housing, costs, and domesticatability. But before we get into it, I just want to say that if you live in a cold climate country, like myself, you're not going to be able to keep Cotylorhynchus. But I could, and you could, if you live in a cold climate country, keep Cassia, basically identical to Cotylorhynchus, just a fraction of the size, with Cassia only growing 3 feet, but stay tuned for a care video on that. First up, housing. Usually when it comes to large reptiles, like iguanas or tegus, keepers tend to keep the babies in small enclosures and then upgrade the enclosure as the animal grows. So what size would a Cotylorhynchus hatchling be? Green iguana hatchlings are 9 inches long, and adults usually average out at 5 feet, meaning the hatchlings are 7 times smaller than the adult. For an 8.5 foot Komodo dragon, the 12-inch hatchlings are around 10 times smaller.
Nope, 7.
Asian water monitor babies are 8 times smaller than an adult, and baby Argentine black and white tegus are 6 times smaller than an adult. Using this rough estimation of babies being 6 or 7 times smaller than an adult, a baby Cotylorhynchus hancocky would be 32.4 inches if it was 7 times smaller than the 19.5 foot adult, which makes them comparable to an Aki monitor, for example, so a 4 foot enclosure would be good for the first year of life. After that, you're just going to want to grow the enclosure year by year as the animal grows, until you eventually end up with a field. As for an adult-sized enclosure, we need to base this off Cotylorhynchus's feeding habits. Cotylorhynchus had a large gut. What was this large gut for, you ask? For processing tough and nutrient-poor vegetation. Cows have 4 specialized stomachs. I won't go into the biology of a cow, but Cotylorhynchus likely had a similar anatomy. A good way to go about it would be to plant the enclosure with ferns and cycads similar to what Cotylorhynchus may have eaten. It may also be a good idea to have 2 enclosures and then plant a year's worth of food in each enclosure. Then rotate the Cotylorhynchus into the other enclosure when enclosure 1 has been demolished of all vegetation. Then replant enclosure 1 and let it grow while Cotylorhynchus is demolishing enclosure 2. Cotylorhynchus may also have dug roots. If so, then be prepared to fill holes in the enclosure. There's really no way to tell how much plants would be needed to sustain a Cotylorhynchus for an entire year. But really the best thing to do is to make 2 nice big 100 square foot enclosures, then just heavily plant them with ferns, cycads, Dixonia squarosa, and pond edge reeds like Typha. The Cotylorhynchus will most likely not overfeed. People who keep green iguanas say you can't overfeed them as long as it's the right food. Cotylorhynchus may be the same. It might just graze when it's hungry, then bask in the sun for a while to digest. On the subject of basking, like I said before, you're not going to be able to keep it in a cold climate country. If winter temperatures drop too much, you're going to have to build a nice heated shed to keep your Cotylorhynchus in through the night. Now time for costs. It's not going to be cheap. Aki monitors usually go around $500, and based on the size Cotylorhynchus gets, this may even be higher, possibly $600-700 for a single hatchling. You're not really going to find an adult for sale other than uneducated people who did not watch this video trying to get rid of one on Craigslist. Would you need a license for one? You need a license to keep crocodilians, but not massive monitors like an Asian water monitor. Tell me what you think. Do you need a license? There's going to be a poll up there. Vote whether you think you would need a license to keep Cotylorhynchus or not. Now, time for domesticatability. Cotylorhynchus may have been intelligent, or it may not have been. I couldn't find any information regarding its intelligence. No brain scans, nothing. Basically, we can say this: if it was anything like monitors, it could probably tame down nicely. Anything like green iguanas, and it's gonna hate you. If it was anything like a tortoise, it would probably appreciate you because human equals food. Cotylorhynchus, like any reptile, would view you as an essential asset to its survival. Like these guys. But with some work, and a lot of time, you can get them to view you as much more. That's going to do it for this episode. Stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a care video for Cassia. And we'll see you in the next one. Okay.